What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Real Radar Radio Show, episode 63 of this awesome podcast. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for taking the time to listen to the show. Continue to be proud supporters of the show. It's been an awesome experience being able to duck out, I guess you could say, and then come back whenever the hell I want because, it's, that's just the nature of the beast, I guess. I mean, things don't really add up the way that you want them to. Things don't really work out the way you want them to. So, I mean, they, just so happen to be a time and a place for me to come back and, do an episode or two and then, move on with our lives and continue to do what we're doing. And then all of a sudden, by some surprise type of magic, I just so happen to just decide to do an episode. So, I should be more consistent, though. I've been all over the place past few weeks. If you haven't had a chance to catch up and catch the Avengers Endgame post-show discussion, which is obviously available to anybody and everybody who has already seen Endgame and you wish to discuss it more and talk more about it, then episode 62 is for you. I cannot stress enough how hard it was to go that entire first week that Endgame had just released and not discuss storyline, not discuss plot, not discuss anything that just so happened to do with Endgame. So episode 62 is directly for you. Any spoilers, any plot twists, breakdowns, anything that I may have missed, you guys are more than welcome to add on to it. For all I know, I could have missed anything within the time being, but for what it's worth, episode 62 is out there. It's floating around there somewhere. YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. Actually, no. iTunes is actually probably no longer available due to the fact that I'm pending a few things that I need to update the iTunes part on my part. So there is maybe a quick hiccup, not available on iTunes, but you can still catch the show on Spotify, on Spreaker, and on YouTube. So I'm still in the midst of getting quality sound checked by iHeartRadio. We're trying to work things out over there, so I'm still in the midst of trying to shuffle through all that and get all that situated. That way I can have iHeartRadio platform available for you guys, for anybody actually. I find it quite, I guess you could say, amusing and quite convenient for everybody to, just being able to download them on their favorite platform, regardless of where it's at. Again, iTunes users, I do apologize that it's not available right now on the iTunes podcast, but I'm working on it. Please bear with me. You guys are more than welcome to check it out on YouTube or Spreaker or Spotify. For the time being, I assure you it's going to be, just as the same, just as much as awesome. And again, just keep posted during the week. I will be making sure I have everything squared away with iTunes and, trying to work all that out during the week so I can get that done and completed by the time Monday rolls around. So, in the meantime, enjoy this episode 63. A little spur of the moment here. Episode 63 has actually been just, brought to my attention, 15-20 minutes ago. I am currently working right now. It is 1:40 in the morning. 20 minutes ago, I had this brilliant idea to do episode 63. Why all of a sudden? I'll tell you why. There has been a lot of things going on that have probably led to episode 63. We had Marvel and Disney bring us more depth and intros and everything behind The Lion King coming up. Aladdin is already in theaters. Disney and Pixar just released their first trailer for Onward, starring Chris Pratt and Tom Holland animation, during the NBA Finals tonight of Game 1 between the Raptors and Warriors. And if you guys had a chance to watch that first game, it was pretty entertaining. I caught maybe a few minutes of the third quarter, and I finished out the fourth quarter also in style. It actually turned out to be really, really good. Raptors walked away with the victory, of course, 118-109. I honestly think that the Raptors have quite a chance to maybe make a run at this, due to the fact that, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson both have had their, time to shine, time to, get things done within the playoffs, and, when they did, everything that they could in the, regular season, being able to bounce back from injury. With you got KD out, you got Boogie Cousins out. I mean, you got all these other, factors that just don't work in your favor. And I think Toronto has something going on with Van Fleet and with Kawhi Leonard. You know what? I can get into that later. But for the time being, everything else that had just jumped onto, I guess, my radar, I guess you could say, has been kind of a hit and miss, here and there, because there's something about these different trailers and these video clips that have made their way. Everybody has, found a way to discuss things that have, unraveled in the past few weeks. The last episode I did, Game of Thrones was still a thing, and now it's not. I mean, Game of Thrones is officially over. I am truly, deeply sorry that each and every one of you feel personally, violated because how it ended. And you know what? I don't sympathize with you, because that show was just complete, utter, nonsense all over the place. It just, you have these diehard so-called fans that are just wanting to boycott this, new season of Game of Thrones. And it's kind of leading to what I'm talking about in terms of, audience feedback and how things, truly, affect the true outcome of what we're really looking forward to. I mean, there's news tabloids this week that Elizabeth Olsen had ruined the plot for Infinity War and Endgame just 2 years ago, during a skit for MTV, something that had to do with MTV back like maybe a year or 2 years ago. But whatever the case may be, I mean, there was that, story that just came out. It's all over Facebook. Everything that I see, is, that leading to this. And, obviously, diehard Game of Thrones fans boycotting, to have season 8 totally redone, because they weren't satisfied with the way season 8 played out. Some people wanted to see Daenerys, whatever the hell her name is, Emilia Clarke's character, rule the throne and keep it like that. Obviously, Bran ended up with the throne, I guess, whatever, or king. I'm not a fan. I watched a good 4 seasons, and I was intrigued. I was really, into this, and I was getting behind the whole, situation that was Game of Thrones. Everybody was, word of mouth, how great it was, how awesome it was. And you know what? To be, the one person that says, people were actually right about the show. Everybody was truly right, and it was really nice to see that, not everybody that saw that was talking about the show and, thought a certain way, it was actually really good. But the fact of the matter is that, I don't have these hours upon hours to waste with trying to play catch up, and trying to, I guess, cram 7 seasons of Game of Thrones before I watch season 8. It was no way. It's impossible. So what I had figured was that I let it go. There was no way I was gonna, continue to watch Game of Thrones and know that, all these things have happened. I ruined season 8 for myself because, there was no need for me to watch the show anymore. You got people discussing spoilers on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. You got people talking about how frustrated and pissed off they were about how this new season came about, how people are not, seeing the bigger picture and the whole story, and how they feel like they've been justified by not being able to have a proper send-off to their characters. Well, tough shit, I mean, it happens with every show. The Sopranos, did Tony Soprano die? Did he live? We'll never know. The way that the season cut out was that the Sopranos cut out at the end of the series run with just a quick fade to black. A quick cut to black. No one knows anything. There's been discussions that Tony Soprano was eventually whacked off. He was eventually killed. Some say that he lived. He's under a witness protection program. The passing of James Gandolfini is completely, out of the water because, here's a guy who's played Tony Soprano for years on years, and he's no longer with us. But Michael Gandolfini, his son, is set to reprise his father's character, and I guess a TV movie or limited series or something that has to do with Tony Soprano. So that's actually pretty fucking cool. I mean, the kid looks exactly like his father, just a lot younger, and very inept in the terms of him looking exactly like his dad. So that's great. That's awesome. But I mean, Game of Thrones fans shouldn't be disheartened by the way season 8 ended, because these actors have given you 8 years of their lives to dedicate to this series to bring you guys amazing storytelling. Bottom line, the show has become one of the top shows out there, regardless of how you may feel about an episode or two, how you feel about certain characters. These stories and these actors work hard to bring you guys this quality content week in, week out, every month, every year, every hiatus, every heartbreak, every conflict, every resolution, every awkward situation, every laughable moment, and every moment that has you on the edge of your seat, all paid off in the end, because it should bring you closure to each and everything that you've seen and encountered throughout the whole season. Whether you're a fan or not, whether you're new to the series, whether you're just a regular TV viewer, or whatever the case may be. Anybody and everybody will know that once you invest time into a TV series, you've spent all this time with the character that you've grown to know and known to love. When Glenn was killed off in The Walking Dead, spoilers, but not so much spoilers now, because it's been a couple of years. If you haven't caught up with Walking Dead, you're living under a rock, so you need to catch up. When Glenn was killed off by Negan in The Walking Dead, it was heartbreaking. It was very gruesome. It was very horrible to see, because you've grown just to know this character from season 1 to whatever season he was killed off on. And you feel that gut-wrenching sense that he should have lived, or something should have happened. But in the same retrospect, you got to know the source material, and you got to know where it's all stemming from, the comics, the whole storyline that this is supposed to happen. All this is supposed to happen because it's in due time. Everything happens for a reason, whether it's direct script, original screenplay written for TV or television or film, or source material such as a book, or i.e. a comic book or graphic novel. It's supposed to happen. It's meant to happen. It's meant to be what it is. So, I mean, it was gut-wrenching. It was hard. When people watched Cheers, everybody was, happy, and everybody was so enthralled and invested into these characters because they were so used to Norm, and they're so used to everybody in the series that it was just like hanging out with them every week. And it was just getting to know these characters each and every week. Sanford and Son's the same thing. Seinfeld was the same thing. I don't want to say Sex and the City, but, there is those people that, have watched Sex and the City and have really invested in time and effort and, feelings with those characters that it's hard to see. And probably the number one show that I could see a lot of people relating to was Breaking Bad, because Breaking Bad, it was a series juggernaut. It was a TV juggernaut. Everybody and anybody loved that show because it was just spoken on so many levels, and it brought quality television back to TV. It brought quality content back to television. And now you have shows on Hulu and Netflix and Amazon Prime, and you got all these different shows coming out of the woodworks producing new original content, which is great because you hardly see new content being brought to new viewerships and new demographics around everybody else, because it's so hard to invest all this time and energy to target a certain demographic, to target a certain audience, and to get them to see what show or what content you're bringing to the table. And it's not so much that, everybody has a certain taste, or you can only target a certain demographic with how you approach a show. And yeah, it's true. I mean, you want to appeal to the horror fans. You want to appeal to the comedy aspect. You want to appeal to people who love drama and people who love suspense and everything in between. When the Twilight Zone was brought back with Jordan Peele hosting, it brought back so many elements from the original show that intertwine with today's world. And you attach these stories just like the show on Netflix, Black Mirror. You attach that show with big name actors, which again, Black Mirror is moving into its new seasons, or season 5, whatever. You have names like Anthony Mackie, you have Miley Cyrus, you have Haley Atwell, you have all these characters who have joined in on the whole Black Mirror aspect and have brought quality content to us, the audience, throughout the years. And even in the upcoming season, for season 5, you have a lot of big name actors joining in and bringing us a lot of great episodes. As I was talking about it with the Twilight Zone just now, you have actors such as Seth Rogen and Zazie Beetz and Kumail Nanjiani and Chris O'Dowd, all these amazing actors and actresses, bringing stepping up and bringing us like this suspense type of feeling where there's the Twilight Zone was brought to this updated version of television and twisted on its head and pretty much spit out this whole new way that we view television now. There's so many different things. You got Black Mirror Bandersnatch that came out earlier this year. That was late last year, earlier this year, and it was so interactive with Netflix, and it was so you can choose what kind of way the story was in ahead, and you can choose this different type of viewership that you were sitting in front of your TV for, and not just sitting and watching, but you got to participate in some weird way. So now you have other TV shows on Netflix and on Amazon Prime or on Hulu that want the viewer to feel more included and more participated in their shows and in so more with their what it is that they're watching. I have been a proud Hulu subscriber since last November, and I gotta tell you guys, it was probably the best thing I have ever done, because here I was at work, bored out of my mind in November of 2018. The night was dragging, it was real quiet, it was 2 a.m, and it just so happened to be around the time near Thanksgiving, Black Friday. So Hulu had this promotional thing where you sign up for Hulu and you only pay $1 a month for a whole year. What fool in the right mind would not jump on an opportunity like that to watch quality television? We're talking Seinfeld, we're talking Rick and Morty, we're talking King of the Hill, we're talking Arrested Development, which is also on Netflix, but we're talking about Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad. We're talking about 90 Day Fiance. We're talking about other shows that have been on A&E, have been on major networks, past shows, new shows, wrestling. Hulu does have sports. They have so many other things that you can watch. They have top blockbuster movies like Baywatch. They got other movies on there that are being updated weekly or daily. they got new original series that actually proved themselves to be quite hilarious, like that Pen 15 show with those two girls who would play 13-year-old versions of themselves. But that show was absolutely hilarious, man. I watched that show when it first came out, the very first weekend. I finished it within the first 2 days, and it was just hilarious. It was so funny, and I'm eagerly waiting for season 2. And just like with Netflix, I'm awaiting the next season of Stranger Things. I'm waiting for the next season of Orange is the New Black. And you take these opportunities to invest into these new and exciting new TV shows, and you take a risk. You gamble, and either you win or you lose. You either like the show or you don't. I still have Brooklyn Nine-Nine on my queue on Hulu that I've been waiting to watch. Have I had an opportunity to watch it? Not exactly, not yet. But am I getting there? Oh, fuck yeah, I'm getting there. Because it's going to be amazing. The day that I have time off to just sit down and relax and kick back and watch some good Hulu, hey, I'm going to have the best time of my life. But with everything that's going on right now, I have a wedding to plan for. I'm in transition of looking for another job. I'm in the midst of so many other great things right now, so many other opportunities. I just haven't had a chance to really sit down and really delve into the whole world of television or catch up on my favorite shows. I do what I can when I'm at work, when I have downtime at work, when I'm, on my lunch break at work, or when I'm, during the day after I slept half the day, or most of the day. I spent most of my day asleep, and I wake up and have a couple hours to burn. I'll pop on an episode or two of King of the Hill, or I will, find something else to watch on YouTube. And I think this whole, thing that bringing this different quality of TV and content to all our smartphones and tablets and homes is just really great. I mean, you never had this type of freedom and accessibility at your hands in the 80s or 90s. And I'm not discrediting people that grew up in the 80s or 90s. I mean, trust me, Blockbuster and Hollywood Video were what I thrived on. That was my bread and butter, man, and I loved it. I miss Blockbuster. I miss walking up and down those aisles looking for different movies, picking out movies that I have already seen so many fucking times that I would kill to watch again, because those movies were just blatantly badass. How many times I rented Aliens? How many times I rented Cloverfield? How many times have I rented Phantoms? How many times have I rented Scream 1, 2, and 3? How many times have I rented the Mothman Prophecies or the Butterfly Effect? All those shows rented, and all those TV shows and movies rented throughout the years proved to be, the best times of my life. Going to Hollywood Video and renting video games on a Tuesday or Wednesday and keeping it for 4 or 5 days and playing the whole fucking game until I beat the whole damn thing, and then returning it so more accomplished, knowing that I didn't have to spend money on buying it, but I rented it, and that was the most awesome part. You can't do that now. You can't rent video games now because Blockbuster's obsolete. Hollywood Video is obsolete. We don't have that anymore. What this whole, generation now has is Redbox. I mean, for the love of God, Redbox is great and all. I mean, people, it's convenient for you to rent a movie for $1.99, or, find the new release and watch it, that what you've been waiting for, that you didn't have time to watch it in theaters, but you just so happen to stop by your local convenience store or a supermarket and you pick up a copy of that movie just so you can watch it for one night. That's great and all, but there was no better feeling or nothing else better in the world than going to rent a movie on a Friday night, with your homies or with your friends. You just pile up in a car, you head to Blockbuster, you head to Hollywood Video, and you go browse those fucking aisles, man, and you be there for 45 minutes, an hour and a half, just finding a fucking movie to watch for the night. You guys would rent 4 or 5 different movies knowing that you guys were only going to watch 1 or 2 of them bitches because you knew that you guys were going to fall asleep or eventually, transition to playing games, or you'd go rent a game and you'd spend all fucking night staying awake with your friends, knowing that you were gonna, kick each other's ass at Super Smash Bros. Or you all were gonna beat each other up and wrestling, or you guys were gonna fucking conquer the fucking gauntlet and fucking Madden or something. Whatever the case was, whatever the case may be, you guys were able to do that on a consistent basis, because that's what it was. That's what our Friday nights were. That's what it was all about. I mean, now you have Redbox taking over video rentals, and people even now are shying away from renting at Redbox. Why? Because people have found plot holes and plot twists and ways to get around how they rent games and how they rent movies now, because nobody rents movies anymore. Nobody does that shit. We're in 2019 now. Ain't nobody in their right, crazy ass mind's gonna, rent a movie or rent a game and return it. How many times I've seen people return so-called discs to Redbox locations when they just made a print copy of the disc itself with a barcode on it and turned it in, and Redbox was dumb enough to register it as the rental was returned, but at the same time you cheated the fucking box and you kept the disc. How many times do people do that at Blockbuster or at Action Video or Hollywood Video, where you rented a movie but you never fucking returned it? Now you have bad credit for the rest of your life. I don't know what the fuck the process is, but I remember renting Mighty Morphin Power Rangers back in the 90s or early 2000s. Never returned that bitch, and then when I finally did, I had a fucking late fee of like $53. And back then, $53 was a lot of fucking money. But now, I mean, you have all these different types of television and content at your hands. You got YouTube creators creating original content on their YouTube channels for free, mind you. Some are paid partners with advertisements and different brands and shit. They get paid to do this stuff. That's what they're there for. They have a new thing called YouTube TV, where you can watch cable and access your favorite channels with no fucking wires, with no fucking box. And you're able to do anything's possible on YouTube TV, because you can watch anything that you want, whether it's your favorite YouTube creator or channel, or you want to watch ESPN, or you want to catch the big fight, or you're looking for a good movie to watch, or you're just trying to catch up on your news. Whatever the case may be, YouTube TV is there. You got the ability to watch TV and movies on your phone with Hulu, with Netflix. And let's sweeten the deal just a little bit. If you have a flat screen TV, or you have a 4K TV, whatever, all you got to do is go to your local Blockbuster, your local Best Buy, or your Kmart, or Kmart's not even alive anymore. What am I talking about? Go to your local electronics store. You go to Best Buy. You go to CompUSA. You go to Walmart. You go to Sam's. You go to wherever you can get your hands on electronics on, and you go and you buy a $35 Chromecast. You plug that motherfucker into the TV. You can mirror your phone. You can mirror Hulu, Netflix, YouTube, anything that you watch, DirecTV Now, HBO Go, onto your TV with just that little device. You're set, man. As long as you have a secure internet connection, I'm talking Wi-Fi, not off your phone, you can watch TV, movies, anywhere and everywhere. You know how many times a Chromecast has saved me from watching TV on my phone, just on my phone, when I can share it with my coworkers at work? So many fucking times. It's convenient. It works. It's now it's better. It's so much better, man. I mean, how many times we watch Married with Children or Law and Order, or what's it called, King of the Hill, at work so many times, because we have that convenience. And now, I mean, it's just so much more open that you're able to get your hands on so much more content and much more opportunity, that it's that much more exciting. And I really miss video rental stores. I really wish that they would bring that back. I mean, if they're able to bring back certain styles and stuff that people do on TV, like they were able to bring back I mean, Come on, man. They're bringing back 90210, 90210 fucking O to TV. They got The Real World still on MTV. They got, what is it? They got these other shows making comebacks that are coming back with different shows or new seasons or of these old shows and stuff. Why can't they bring back video stores? Why can't we open up like a small chain of Blockbuster Video? The whole decline of Blockbuster Video was, brought on because of Netflix. Netflix had, rent movies for, $7.99 a month, $8 a month, and we'll mail you a DVD, or, you rent a DVD, you mail it back, and you get credit for it. And then they started doing GameFly, and then they started combining shit like that. And they really brought down the whole Blockbuster empire, the whole video rental empire due to that. And Blockbuster was no fucking headspace to compete with Netflix, because when Netflix started streaming their shit online, Blockbuster was done. And there's a whole video on it. If you guys go Bright Sun Films on YouTube, type in Bright Sun Films on YouTube, and once you get to his channel, it's Jake Williams. Jake Williams produces so many awesome abandoned and awesome videos and content on his channel on YouTube. He does a really awesome abandoned episode that I helped contribute to on the Blockbuster. That's the whole history of Blockbuster and everything. And I'm happy I got to contribute to that episode that he did. You guys got to go check it out. It gives you a whole rundown and everything, that how Blockbuster came to be and how it all came down and what it means for the future, and what does it all mean in the end. I mean, we're technically all finding our way through this whole rubble of how we view TV, and how we're eventually coming to one another to come together to watch TV and branch out to different alternative ways of how we see shit. So I mean, it's awesome. I mean, I'm really truly excited for what we can watch in the future. We got TV, this awesome quality television at our hands. We got Game of Thrones is already done. HBO is producing The Watchmen. If you guys have not watched Watchmen, Zack Snyder, from earlier in his career when he did Watchmen with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and he did this awesome movie, a 3-hour movie of The Watchmen, the graphic novel. It's being brought to HBO as a TV show. You got Westworld season 3 coming out next year or this year. They got Chernobyl Diaries on HBO also. There's so many good fucking movies on HBO. I was watching Sorority Boys. If you've not watched Sorority Boys, you are not fucking living. That movie is fucking hilarious, and you're missing out. So you guys got to get on this shit. It's truly an awesome feeling and way of being able to watch quality TV. Back when you guys would watch earlier shows on Nickelodeon or Disney or whatever. I mean, all that shit's accessible to you with new platforms coming out. And not to mention, Disney has Disney Plus, their streaming service, coming out in October, November. So you can expect to find a bunch of people who subscribe to Disney Plus who will be able to, you'll be able to stream The Fox and the Hound, Cinderella, The Lion King, Toy Story, all these different Disney movies and shows and everything, from the Disney Channel to Disney movies and Pixar. All these movies, you'll be able to stream them come October, come November. So, I mean, that's something to look forward to. It's an amazing thing that you guys can, truly capitalize on. Especially, the younger crowds and everybody that's into streaming and into all that shit. So, it's going to be an awesome thing to experience. If you haven't experienced it yet, you guys are, in for a treat. It's going to be awesome. I spent this entire episode talking about television, talking about TV, talking about the future of, television and what it means, where we're going and what we're doing. What are you watching? hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Instagram, on YouTube. Leave a comment below the video. Tell me what you guys are watching. What are you guys interested in? What type of shows do you watch? What shows have you already seen or currently seeing? What do you guys recommend for other listeners out there that listen to this show? Any recommendations for me to check out? I mean, I'd be more than willing to check out all these different shows that you guys have suggested. I'm more excited to look forward to what you guys have to say about any memories that you guys had from renting movies at Blockbuster or Hollywood Video or Action Video, wherever you guys rented videos from. It could even be Redbox. What was your fondest memory? What do you guys miss most about this? I really miss drive-in theaters, man. I mean, that was the shit back in the day. I mean, we have one maybe 20-25 miles away from here, but ain't it gonna cut it, man. I mean, nothing like going out, sitting in the back of the truck, or laying in bed in the truck and watching the movie. I remember watching Chicken Run. Chicken Run. I mean, I'm just gonna say that again. Chicken Run. Yeah, it gives you an idea of how old I am. Guys, this has been episode 63 of the Real Radar Radio Show. You guys have been awesome. I'll see you guys next episode in 64. And it should be really fun. It really should, and I'm really looking forward to it. I gotta be more consistent with all this. Oh, by the way, if you guys have not seen the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare trailer, you guys are fucking missing out. That shit looks awesome. I'm gonna pre-order that bitch. I'm gonna buy it. Even though I'm saving for a wedding, and even though I'm saving for, so many other things, and moving into a new apartment and all this, I'm gonna buy that motherfucker. It looks promising. I've been waiting for boots on the ground. None of this futuristic bullshit Call of Duty stuff. I want Call of Duty boots on the ground. Normal shit. What's so hard about that? I mean, really, what's so hard about that? I know a lot of you will probably agree. I'll see you guys in episode 64. You guys take care. Have an awesome, wonderful weekend. It is May 31st. You guys have an awesome weekend. I'll see you guys next week. And peace out.